Hello, I am Sen the Manga Addict and welcome to my very first reading vlog. I read 61 books over the course of October, 13 of which were Fly Me to the Moon. I made a lot of headway on Fly Me to the Moon, starting with volume 10 through 22. With 7 more volumes, I would be caught up, though I believe 30 is due to arrive pretty soon. It's been the series I've been chasing after the most right now. It started off with a very episodic, slice-of-life-y little chapters, shenanigans here and there between the shy couple. But then it got into more serious tones, with the truth behind what / how Tsukasa is, a full backstory for her which was really fascinating, some of which you could see coming, some of which, like where her role was in common mythos, I never would have guessed. The actual introduction of Kaguya, which hasn't been explained yet with Where I Am. Obviously there's a bit of a more supernatural twinge to it with the fact that Tsukasa has been alive as long as she has, and the very sci-fi take on the Princess Kaguya mythos. But I really can't wait to get my hands on more, to find out if this Kaguya is the same Kaguya, if souls get reincarnated, because that wouldn't be too out of line with everything we have seen. All in all, it's really got me hooked. I do highly recommend it. I obviously cannot be buying them fast enough. I read all 10 volumes of Happy Marriage. It takes the trope of marriage first, then comes love, and it does it well. There is a reason it's a trope. He is your typical work comes first, love is unimportant. That changes throughout the course of the story while she is naive and unsure what any of it means for them in the end. You get hooked watching them evolve. I read all 10 volumes in 2 days because I just couldn't put it down. It does a good job balancing the push and pull that is required in a relationship, while you still have your problems caused from miscommunication, misunderstandings. They do a pretty good job resolving them. There's a lot of time that they put in extra love interest, or they put in different conflicts that kind of feel very forced to bring the couple together, and that wasn't the case in this one. The only bit of it that didn't feel completely natural was just the fact that there were so many involved parties. But there are worse ends when it comes to a shoujo series. I do recommend this. I very much enjoyed it, just as I did An Incurable Case of Love by the same mangaka. Also, like An Incurable Case of Love, it is mature, so do be forewarned going into it. I read 5 volumes of Kakuriyo Bed and Breakfast for Spirits. If I had one complaint, it would be how thin all of the volumes are. Alvy's trials and tribulations continue, though it feels like for every answer we get, I've still got so many more questions. I go back and forth on if I believe that the Ayakashi who helped her when she was young was the Odana, or if it was Genji. While it's a little trite the way all of the Ayakashi keep getting won over with food, there is a real reason for the saying, making their way to their heart through their stomach. I do like all the cooking scenes and descriptions of the food, but most of them are ones I have never had, not being one who is able to travel much, so there is a slight disconnect there. But I've been really enjoying it. Just one more volume and I am finally caught up. I read 4 volumes of Skip Beat. I've been absolutely loving going through the series, but unlike Fly Me to the Moon, I have a lot more trouble finding the next volume I need. Mostly because what you can find is in omnibus form, and that's not the way I like to collect things. I love how absolutely goofy Kyoko is, and how oblivious she is when it comes to Rin, both in his feelings and his other identity. While it's pretty clear to me in what directions the plot's gonna go, I mean, there's just so many volumes for me to go through to get caught up. I'll definitely be trying to focus on collecting this one a lot heavier once I get caught up on Fly Me to the Moon. But man, Rin finding his role through Kyoko was just so good. I read 3 volumes of Hatsu Haru. I do really like the fact that it's primarily from Kai's perspective, instead of Riko like would be a typical shoujo. I love the focus it's done on the other couples. I love the short guy and the big girl's relationship. It is just absolutely adorable. I love the meddling friends. The misunderstandings I could leave, but it makes the story go. The wedding hits hard, even though it's not that long. It's so prevalent, and just seeing how it affects Riko, you just can't help but empathize. Of all the volumes to have to end off on, what an absolute just note. I really want the next volume. I read 3 volumes of How Do We Relationship, and it kinda hurt. I really like my characters to be happy, Obviously, people can't always be happy. There's not going to be any drama if that's how things stand. But seeing two characters hurting and hurting each other on purpose and just pushing each other away, and it's so hard to get through. But I know I've just got to keep going because, clouds don't cover the sun forever. It's got to go uphill in some way, whether it be with the same two or with other two. But, relationships aren't that straightforward. Which, might be part of the title. I read 2 volumes of Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter. I really love series like this. Well, it's kind of Villainous/Villainess adjacent. While I absolutely love Villainous, it's not the Villainous aspect that appeals to me so much as the pure development of the area. I love watching things build and grow. You'll have your drama, you'll have conflicting forces, but give me a game where I'm working and building and making a town prosper over a game where you're fighting and destroying each other's stuff any day of the week. I absolutely adore Dean as a character. I was really in favor of him. I did not necessarily see his identity coming, but the second they mentioned that the first prince would be coming into the picture, it all clicked. I'd hate to see her caught up more in politics, but if it means she'll get into a higher seat and do more good for everywhere and not just her area, I would love to see her make her whole world thrive and her get acknowledged for all of it. I read 2 volumes of Hitomi-Chan and Shy with Strangers. There were so many good developments. I love the way his little sister is in the middle of everything meddling. I love how confident they are in their feelings even if they're not quite to the point of saying anything. I love Angie and her meddling and how she and his sister immediately just lock in together. The aquarium was great. And them using Hitomi for just pure intimidation on the other team during volleyball was hilarious. I will definitely be keeping an eye out for more volumes. Takopi's Original Sin. What I knew of it beforehand was that it was tragic. I'd seen some stills out of the anime, just a few from the very beginning, and it was enough to really draw me in. I assumed going in it was kind of Grave of the Fireflies vibes, as far as beautiful but tragic, and it didn't really disappoint, though I absolutely never would have guessed what Takopi's Original Sin actually was, and it had a way more satisfying end than I expected. I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to call it happy, but it was really satisfying. That can be really hard to pull off, especially with a time travel story. It was absolutely beautiful. I absolutely recommend it. I think it's beautiful, but be forewarned, there are trigger warnings. It is explicit content labeled for a reason. Make sure and read it in a good state of mind. I was reincarnated as a 7th prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability, volume 16. Every volume, I think, how is the plot going to continue? How is it going to be able to keep getting momentum, keep getting bigger and better, and not just flatline? And yet it somehow pulls it out. It looked like Tartarus was done by the end, so who knows how the story is going to continue, but it has exceeded my expectations by far. It's dumb, but it's fun. Daughter of the Emperor, Volume 12. I get less sure what I think about the series every volume. It's gone on a lot longer than I kind of expected it to, and I wonder what the end goal is going to be, what's going to make the series actually come to a halt. I do like Ahin as a character, but there's just been all of the male love interest seem too fast. It hasn't felt quite as natural, the development there. I'm hoping they'll turn it around, but it feels like it gets slower on my list every time it comes around. But I just keep continuing to stay up to date on it for, I guess, out of habit. My Dress Up Darling, Volume 14. That was some development we got there. I know there's only supposed to be 1 more volume. I think they did a really incredible way of handling the confession. Between Gojo's feelings of jealousy he struggled to confess, and Marine feeling like she didn't have a place in his world, that she had been intruding all this time, and very real representations about how they try to put up walls to keep themselves from being hurt and how they end up hurting themselves in the process. All in all, I will be really sad next volume as it ends, but it's had a great run. I hate to complain about something I like ending when they do it well. We stuck up 1 volume to see how well the end actually comes, but I feel like it'll be a pretty good send-off. The Moon on a Rainy Night, Volume 7. And this was a fantastic volume. Between Ayano and Kanon being able to clear the air, it was way more about Kanon than it was about Saki. Saki has been an interesting character. Kanon had so much growth in this volume. Seeing her accept that having people help her doesn't make her any less was so heartwarming. Saki taking a back seat in this volume really helped Kanon shine through and grow. And I think it'll lead to the development between the two really well going forward. If you need more Yuri in your life, you should get on this one. And speaking of Yuri, one of my absolute favorites, I'm in Love with the Villainess, Volume 9. Seeing the three girls become Secret Service investigators was something I never would have seen coming, especially the fact that they were investigating both Lily and Claire's fathers. It was really incredible seeing both Prince Rod propose to Ray, which I never would have seen coming, as well as the fact that that and Lily really made Claire look inside to see how she really feels about everything. Goodness, first we had the bit with you, and now there's a bit with Thane. Like, what even is going on with the plot? I can't wait. These volumes come out way too slow for my taste. And then another favorite of mine, Crossplay Love, Otaku X Punk Volume 13. Feels a little wrong to call this one BL, seeing as how they both think they're in love with a girl, but it's just such ridiculous hijinks. The number of people now that actually know what's what. There's so many people by now who know about both identities of each of the guys. And all the fanboying over Udon and his group is just so good. I love all the bonus chapters. Though I do have to worry exactly how long it is going to go on. You can only have hidden identity hijinks for so long, especially when so many players at the table know what's going on and they keep thinking that they can't actually have a relationship in their false selves. So how do they approach it? How is the reveal going to happen? There's still so many questions. I'm always so excited when it's time for a new volume. I absolutely adore this one. My Isekai Life, Volume 21. You never know what this series is going to throw at you. Him being a student, and them not knowing how to handle him while he's still trying not to reveal the full scope of everything, has been so silly. It was so funny when his companions tried to hunt Slimebird. They would not have found any meat for their meal that way. The way he always motivates his slimes with food. The way everyone's in complete awe of him while he's only showing a fraction of what he can do. I do wonder how much longer he'll be at the school though. Well, it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun with him being at school, but it's definitely felt like the pace has slowed a lot towards the overall goal of dealing with the Blue Moon of Salvation. She Professed Herself Pupil, the Wise Man, Volume 13. I get a little confused as to what to think of this one. I was really excited when it moved beyond what the anime covered, but being a VR MMO, and yet the VR is taken out, we still have no explanation of that. We're 13 volumes in, and I still feel so confused as to where we're really going with anything. The ninja and their torture methods, was not expecting that. Apothecary Diaries Volume 14. I don't have quite as much to say because the anime got ahead of the manga this time around, so there was nothing in it that I read that I hadn't already seen, so I didn't have much of a reaction to any of it. I try really hard not to watch shows ahead of where I've read to help keep me motivated on my reading, but also watching shows is how I share the series I love with my husband and my daughter, so sometimes I risk making them mad if I hold off too long because then the internet gives them spoilers and nobody wants that. Marriage Toxin Volume 9. I absolutely adore Marriage Toxin. I'm so glad we're getting an anime. I really hope I'll be able to talk some friends into checking out the anime. You've got to wonder how far Garo's quest for the one can go, especially when it's constantly introducing new characters and not going back to them as often. Like, obviously Kinosaki has a lot of knowledge on the subject and they've got a plan in mind, but at the same time, if you're not revisiting any of the potential love interest, how do you proceed? How do you figure out what's going on? Leo seems like a hoot. I hope he becomes more of a recurring character. But then again, there's so many characters I would already love her to revisit. I think the bodyguard lady is my favorite so far, but that's probably mostly because she's so adorable, and I love the Heart of Gold. A Condition Called Love, Volume 15. What a hard volume to get through. It's always hard, both thinking that someone is doing something they're not comfortable with just for you, but also trying to get past your nerves just to be shot down. Everybody lost this volume. I mean, I'm sure they'll work past it. As a matter of fact, I remember when Kodansha put out a post about a later volume of A Condition Called Love, and it was like 3 volumes ahead of what had been physically released, and I was so upset seeing that minor spoiler just frankly posted randomly. I really root for these two. I know I've seen some people really disgruntled as the anime hit, etc. about Saki's obsessiveness and how they feel he's incredibly toxic, but you can't grow if you aren't given a chance, and frankly he's done a lot of growing over the course of the series. He's not perfect, but no one is. I look at all the relationships around me. I've seen a lot of different kinds of toxicity, and they're making it work. Obviously not this volume. It made me so sad. I feel like I've seen the ending point on this one announced. I know there's still a little bit to go, but while I enjoy this one quite a bit, I won't be quite so sad for it to go, because I really feel like it's hit that point. If it went on too much longer, it wouldn't be the series that I've enjoyed. The Dark History of the Reincarnated Villainess, Volume 13. It took me the longest time to actually get started on this series because I couldn't find Volumes 2 and 3 for quite a while. By the time I'd found them, Volume 11 was the latest to come out, and so then I just had a massive binge read. And oh my goodness, it went from, yeah, I love Villainous, this is goofy and this is fun, this is exactly what I want out of a Villainous, to, oh my god, everything has consequences and now it has such weight, and oh my god, I love this so much for a completely different reason. I'm so excited for the anime airing. It lets me share it with my husband, and I'm so curious how far season 1's gonna go. And I mean, there's no guarantee anything gets more than one season, but I love this one so much. While it took a more serious shift, it still keeps itself light enough. I mean, she's literally going around being called the masked pervert, and no one blinks an eye. And Saul's conflicted feelings on it all is so good. I love Saul probably the most. I really loved Isaac, but yeah. I can't wait for Volume 14. Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games Volume 8. This is such a weird series. I never would have thought a series about girls playing fighting games would both be so intense and yet feel so weightless at the same time. I really love the arc where they went to the fighting game tournament, but in this volume covering nothing more than just clearing up issues with the mom, it felt like it was over in the blink of an eye and nothing really happened. So I'll definitely pick up Volume 9 when it comes out, but it won't bother me if it takes a while. My Hero Academia Volume 42. I don't think there's anyone who could manage to avoid spoilers of how the series ended, which, don't get me wrong, I understand not having the patience for chapter/volumes to be released, but the amount of disrespect there is in spoilers being everywhere, and frankly unavoidable, when it hasn't been released over here is completely ridiculous. I get that it was outcry because they weren't happy with the way it ended, but the way the fan base acted, it's no surprise that he felt the need to just cut it loose and send it off. He did his best to write a love letter ending, and I feel like he succeeded. And then there was such a pushback of people just wanting to hate on it, purely to hate on it. The fan base was kind of toxic in a lot of ways, but a lot of the hate on the series just because of that was completely unwarranted. Anime, at least in America, would not be in the state it is if not for My Hero Academia. Obviously it owes a lot of it to Demon Slayer as well, but it was the 1-2 punch that elevated anime from being a here's your geeky anime club to everybody knows those names. Anime had such an elevation, and I think people lose that as they like to hate on the series. I'm less of a shonen person than I am a shoujo person, but don't get me wrong, there are things about My Hero Academia I really wish had been done differently. My favorite arc was the Class A versus Class B practicals. I love Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun for, frankly, it just being about the school. I would have loved this series so much more without the high-stakes drama, but that's what shonen does. Just because I would have preferred it a different way doesn't mean it would have been better that way. I'm very sad to see My Hero go, though we do still have some continuations with My Hero Academia team-up missions that I'm definitely going to enjoy as they hit, but I understand why the mangaka felt the need to move on beyond it. Bride of the Barrier Master Volume 4. This was a really great volume. I loved the way they decided to uncover her powers to everyone, the way they got that reveal, and most importantly, the way the twins managed to reconcile with the past birthday and how they both felt like they didn't deserve each other anymore. It was so touching. I really love her Shikigami, all 3 of them. 4, I don't think the god she converted quite counts. I forget some of the terms, but I'm glad they haven't rushed a lot of the relationship between her and Saku. It's felt a lot more natural that way, though I'm very curious who that guy at the end was. Nana Volume 15. Another series where I just want everybody to be happy. Obviously all of the narration is very foreboding. And then it shows little bits of like future, and I'm never sure how much weight there is to any of those. But some of the future bits seem to be really conflicting. Though, obviously it's been on hiatus for a very long time, so who knows if we will actually ever get any full answers. But even if it doesn't get a conclusory end, it's been such a phenomenal ride. Tamon's B-Side Volume 9. What a cute volume. I didn't think we were gonna get any Tamon backstory, but it was so adorable. His older brother is the absolute best. Not to mention him noticing how much of a difference she's made in his life. I am just beside myself waiting for the anime to come out. The music videos they have released have been so good. I listen to them quite often. In theory, I've got a couple of friends lined up to watch the anime with me who aren't necessarily anime people, but they do like boy bands / idol groups, so I'm hoping it will hook them enough that we can watch it each week, and nothing would make me happier. When I became a commoner, they broke off our engagement, volume 5. This was such a great volume. I love the way Ed was trying to find a way to help. He doesn't have any real solutions yet, but he can try and help her be able to survive daily life. It was so heartwarming. And man, when the dad showed up, just showing up to take their money, he wasn't even going to face his family if he had any choice. And even still, he wanted to refuse to make any amends or take any responsibility for his own actions. There was a lack of seeing the other girl's side, but I know they're gonna get there. They've been doing such a phenomenal job with this series. I absolutely love it. I can't believe I'm caught up and I have to wait for more. Honey Lemon Soda Volume 10. Honestly, the Nano-chan plotline was so strange. I'm sure people like that exist out there, but I am lucky enough to not have encountered them. Though to be fair, Uka-chan is way more popular in her class than I ever was, and I definitely didn't never date the stud of the class, prince of the class, whatever you want to call him, to have that much attention on me. It's definitely interesting seeing Kai struggle. I mean, Uka-chan needs to have some more confidence because Kai did choose her, but he can't expect her to not get lost in her head without reassurance. It's really not surprising the route she went in this volume, comparing herself to everyone around her, especially to the girl he dated last. It's really important to put all of those feelings into words and communicate with each other. It's really hard to say what you do and don't like about someone, especially the don't like. You don't want to cause waves, but if you don't tell the other person what you like, they're just going to get wrapped up in insecurities. That's human nature. So as painful as it was to see it, this was a really relatable volume. Banished from the Hero's Party, I Decided to Live a Quiet Life in the Countryside, Volume 11. Honestly, it's really interesting the way that we're not quite caught up at the end of Season 1. I never watched Season 2, frankly because some of the stills I saw out of the anime had the sister go way too far. It was very uncomfy, so I thought I would read the books and see how I felt from there, being my preferred medium. Honestly, especially the blessings, they've gone into a lot more detail about it via the manga, which I found to be a lot more enjoyable. I do get really amused how every volume now comes shrink wrapped, even though there's not always anything in each volume since they first had some topless scenes, and that's it. And that is my 61 reads for the month. Thank you for sticking through it with me. As always, I would love to hear down below what you've been reading lately, if there's any recommendations you would make for me, or even if you just plumb disagree with me. Do you find it easier to binge read a series, or do you prefer to stay caught up with each new release? I'm always so happy to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a good one.